Hi everyone, Charis here. I haven't posted much this week. I still have some videos and some photos left from the trip to the Tetons last weekend to post. That was really fun. It's interesting how incredibly grounding it was, and since I've come back to Los Angeles, I've realized a couple things. One has been that I really love the city. It was really amazing to be out in nature and totally grounded and amped up and activated like happens when you're on a holy spot like where I was. But on the other hand, I realized too that I have this deep love for the city and I don't think that one is better than the other. Neither is better than the other. I think that they're different, very different. And I'm very grateful that I can function in both places. Because I know some people, the idea of camping without tents or toilet paper is terrifying. But, granted, okay, believe me, I know that that's going to be controversial probably. But no, it was actually totally fine. And there are tricks. And no, there's nothing gross about it. Um, but on the other hand, I know people who think the city is a really scary, sketchy place, and I don't think so either. Especially not a city like Los Angeles that has so many layers in it of beautiful things and scary things, and I just think that it's fantastic. And why are we here if not to experience intensity? So this week I thought I would be a lot more active. I have all these things on my to-do list. I'm going to be offering a few different online courses. One of them is going to be a major consciousness course with my friend Polly, who's incredibly intuitive, and really she also has a very strong left brain, so it's going to be more focused on research and left brain stuff. And I'm also going to offer two intuitive development courses. Both of them are going to be 3 weeks long. One's going to be a level 1 for those of you who missed the first one, and the other one going on at the same time will be a level 2. And they're going to run, I think, from October 22nd-ish, which is right after Shasta, to the beginning of November. So that will be November 8th or 9th. Anyway, none of those are open for registration yet, but I'm just keeping you updated as to what's going on. And I thought I was going to be doing a bunch of stuff, moving and shaking around Shasta, preparing, doing the final preps, planning future stuff, and I have not done any. I've kind of been in cloister, which is a thing that I do every so often, but I've realized that my body and spirit did not want me to go, go, go once I came back. And there's only so much fighting you can do for stuff like that. You can force yourself to try, but nothing you'll do will work anyway. So I've actually been doing lots of internal work and calibrating and integrating. And this weekend is the Conscious Life Expo where I will be hanging out, at least on Sunday. Tomorrow I'm going to go ziplining, which I'm very excited about. It means we also have to leave at 5:45 a.m., which will be a challenge. Not so much for me, but for my sister. I'm going to record a video tomorrow, so you might see the awesome surliness of her when she wakes up in the morning. Anyway, we were having a conversation this morning, me and her, about presence and spirituality. And I felt strongly as I started getting into this flow and I was explaining it to her that I needed to post a video on it because this is not really a new thing. So I'm actually not quite sure why I'm talking about it in the video, but I am, and I know better than to question at this point, so I'm just going with it. But there are two things that I want to talk to you about religion. The first is that almost every single organized religion has gotten a major aspect incorrect. And the original people who the religion formed around did not get it wrong. But once the religion became a means for social control, which almost every single organized religion has since become, this was kind of stuck in there. And what it is the belief that in order to get to heaven, you had to die, which is not true. And if you look at the actual teachings of pretty much any religious head or catalyst, I guess, like Christ and Buddha and all those guys, you will find that they are saying that heaven is a vibratory state, not a physical location. So, how to get there is the question. And in my adult life, I have had glimpses. And granted, I have only been able to keep them for a couple days at a time, and that's not that common. Usually I keep them for an hour or two at a time, or maybe an afternoon. The most it's been have been 2 or 3 days before popping out. And the way that I find that they're most easily kept is by focusing on one's breathing and by bringing your attention into the present moment. And that's hard because usually, well, we're taught in our culture to live in the future and in the past. None of this is new information. You look at any single spiritual teacher around, they'll say this too. But the thing that is most commonly used as a way to bring yourself into the present is breathing. And I've found that I've gotten really beautiful glimpses of heaven just right like in my kitchen, when I'm just breathing, fully inhaling, fully exhaling. And that's also how I start every session. If you've done a session with me, you know that that's kind of how you can wake up your body and mind and activate it and tell it to pay attention and bring you whatever you need at the time. What you'll also find is that this reality is not quite what we think it is. We're on this perpetual treadmill, and sights change and feelings change, outer and inner feelings, so emotions and things we touch. But we're always exactly where we are and exactly who we are. So nothing can ever add to our selfness or take it away, no matter how sad we are, no matter how exhilarated we are. So at any given moment, you're just as awesome as you are in your most triumphant moments. And no matter what's taken away from you, you're that same person. And that's really what they were always trying to say in the spiritual traditions. It was, no matter what kind of language you want to put to it, it's always be where you are, be nice to yourself, and be nice to everybody else. That's what they're all saying. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what kind of complicated questions people would ask, and then they would give complicated answers to really explain it because people don't like that it could possibly be that simple. What? But don't I need to think about the nature of the angelic realm and exactly the hierarchy of all the angels? And don't I need to worry about negative entities? And don't I need to think about all of these crazy to-do lists I have to do in my life and da 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 da? But if you're focused on where you are, then you'll address what needs to be addressed when it comes up. Nothing can ever happen that isn't something that you can handle because your reality is your reality, and stuff will only come across your screen, which is your experience, that is exactly what you need to be perceiving. I just did a reading this morning, a really fun reading actually, with a friend of mine who I think I'm going to be offering some seminars with, or retreats with rather, some bliss outs next spring, which I'm really excited about that, can't even tell you. But anyway, we were talking about the fear of entities and of say things like Ouija boards, right? And I'm not a proponent of using Ouija boards. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that you can contact whatever you want to contact yourself without needing this piece of equipment that is designed to let random stuff in most of the time. But on the other hand, I also don't think that fear is an accurate reaction, because I think that once you choose a path of ascension, and you just do that by internal decision making, and it's likely that if you're watching this video, you already probably have, because I find that most of the people who tend to be attracted to my stuff tend to be either already present light workers or budding light workers, then nothing can ever come to you if it's not meant for your improvement and learning and evolution and ascension. So no matter what type of information it is, even if it feels scary or sketchy or whatever, it's there so you can either learn something and grow, or so you can have a beautiful blessing and grow. So if you can approach every single new piece of information as an opportunity for ascension and evolution, and also breathe deep, stay in the moment, focus on where you are, then you'll find that nothing can ever really scare you. You can have a drooling, slobbering, sketchy demon standing right in front of you on the etheric, and you can look at it and say, yes, what would you like to tell me? How can I help you? One of the things that I've heard lots and lots, and I've tried it before, and it totally works, is if a monster is chasing you in a dream, if you can just turn around and face it and say, what do you have to tell me? Then all of a sudden the nightmare just becomes a place of learning, and the whole thing changes. And I think that that can be said for pretty much any energy. Ooh, that just came through and I didn't even mean for it to. What I meant to say was any challenging situation that you ever have can be seen as a monster chasing you. And then if you turn around and focus on it with your authenticity, which is never afraid of anything, if you're truly, truly deep in there authentic, then you know that nothing can ever harm you. And say, yes, what would you like? Then you'll find that anything scary just filters right away, and you have epiphanies of beauty and ascension in heaven. So I hope that made sense. It makes sense to me in my brain, but we'll see if it translated like that for you guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's going to be a crazy one for me. Next Monday, I'm going to Utah to prep for next January's bliss out. It was going to be in November, but we're moving it back to make sure it's perfectly prepared. And I think that we'll be posting a lot of videos, Amanda Flaker and I, to prepare you for that. It's in connecting with the elven realm, using writing exercises and lots of raw cacao. So anyway, I know that sounds random, but I swear there's method. Have a great weekend. Go in peace, and I'll talk to you guys again very soon.